Happy Monday. Donnie Baker here with you, LPR Sound Foundation, as well as ES Audio Recording Studios today. So we are here live in the studio. We're going to be mixing a song. This is going to be a little bit longer than our normal YouTube podcast thing, and because I want to, we're going to do the song really quickly. I am going to have to edit some stuff out because we can't really fit everything in there in this short amount of time. What we might do later on this year, what we might do is do a mix where we actually break things down and make it like a workshop, a master class, if you will, that we can offer to everybody. So I just want you to get the idea that I'm also giving you the files. The files are here. If you want to grab the same files that I'm working on, just go to learnprorecording.com/homie files. The name of the song is Homie. So go grab those files, download them, put them into your DAW and mix along, and see if share your mix with us. Go, if you're not in the Facebook group, go get in the free Facebook group. It's LPR Sound Foundation Facebook group. Go get in there. It's free. Get in there. Share the files with us, man. Share your mixes with us. Let us know how you do. I also want to give you another gift. I want to give you the mix prep checklist and the EQ compression cheat sheet. Just go to learnprorecording.com/cheat sheet. Grab that, 100% free. It's going to help out when it comes to you figuring out which frequencies to boost and cut for different instruments, which compression settings is going to give you the best punch, the best layback on the vocals, that kind of thing. Just go get it. learnprorecording.com/cheat sheet. So hopefully you're going to enjoy some of this mixing. This whole month is mixing and mastering month. This first week, we are going to be mixing strictly in the box. Here in Studio B, we're going to be mixing in the box. The following week, we're going to be in the other studio. We're going to mix on the console using outboard gear. We're not going to use anything in the box. The only thing the box is going to do is be our recording device, or like a tape machine. Treat it like a tape machine. Then the following week after that, we're going to come back into Studio B and we're going to do a hybrid mix, which is we're going to get the best of both worlds. It's going to be in the box and on the console. We're going to run through a master bus compressor, outboard master bus compressor. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited. Let's go look at this mix and I'll see you after we get done. All right, welcome in, everybody. One of the first things we're going to do is, if you guys, I have an Apollo. If you guys don't have an Apollo, you probably already are just set up with your I/O. I have to go change my, I want to check my I/O and make sure that I'm in the box. I've got a couple of different settings. As you see this one, I've got all of the outputs to my 32-channel console here. But I'm going to make sure that I'm in the box, meaning that the only outputs I have are in the box. Okay, I've got a couple of different outputs, the cues and things like that, but the main outputs are going to be the monitor left and monitor right. So before we do anything, I'm going to go make sure that is turned on and ready to go. So here's the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to work in Pro Tools. You guys do not have to work in Pro Tools. Whatever DAW makes you happy, you can do that. I'm way more comfortable dealing with Pro Tools. So I'm going to name my track. I'm going to name my new song, call it Homie Mix Test, for lack of something better. I'm going to call this one In the Box because we're going to do a couple of different songs. We're going to do a couple of different versions with the song. I know that this is 16-bit 44.1, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I'm going to go ahead and leave it, interleave. Some of the files are stereo files, so I do want them to come in as a stereo file, so I'm going to leave them interleaved where they are. The ones that are interleaved, I want them to come in as stereo files. Prompt for location, I'm going to say where I want to put it. I do have an external drive connected. You guys that know me know that we use external drives for everything except operating system and applications. So I'm going to tell it to go to Studio Floater, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder and call this Homie Mix Test folder. There we go. And when I click save, it's going to save that and it's going to open up a blank session. There we have a blank session. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in all the files, okay? So I'm going to go to the files where I had them. I think they were on the desktop. There they are. I'm just going to grab all the WAV files, and I'm just going to drag them in. That's what I'm going to do, because that's how we do it in Pro Tools. I'm sure it's the same way that there are, again, in Pro Tools, man, there's 5 ways to do everything. This is just the easiest. I come drag these in. drop them down. They're going to make new tracks, and everything's going to come in like that. And once everything gets populated with the waveforms, I'll go ahead and move everything to the front of the session. There we go. Now I'm just going to press play real quick just to make sure that we got something playing. And I do hear some audio playing, so I'm going to check this real quick. The next thing that I want to do, now that I know that everything's working, and we're going to be mixing completely in the box, correct? So what I want to do is I want to line things up the way that I like to see them. If you guys have downloaded the mix prep checklist, this is part of it. I like to see my kick drum first, then my snare drum, then the toms, or then the hi-hat, then rack tom. Let's go with the rack tom next. Then we'll go with the floor tom after that, and then we'll go with the overheads and the room mic. And that's pretty much it for the drums. Then I like to see my bass. Then I want my rhythm guitars, then my lead guitars, then my solo guitars, and then I'll go ahead and push the organ down to the bottom, and then I like to see my vocals last. This is how I like to see my session set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and save right now. While we're doing that, I'll go ahead and click it so you can see that I'm saving. Because normally what I do is I just hit the Command S a lot because we're dealing with Pro Tools, so we kind of have to do that a lot. So the very next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start making my groups. I'm gonna take all my drums, okay, and I'm gonna take all my drums. Now, recently I've discovered and I've been using folders, routing folders in Pro Tools. I know in Logic, you don't really have routing folders. You still have to use auxiliaries. You can still put things in folders and then collapse it down in Logic if you need to. I'm not too sure about Ableton or Studio One. I do know in Pro Tools that I'm going to make a stereo routing folder, and I'm going to name it drums, okay? Because what this is going to allow me to do, it's kind of like, think of it like an auxiliary or a subgroup that you route everything to. Okay, my drums are here. I'm going to go ahead and route the output of all my drums. It should be down here. There's drums right there. So the output of all my drums is routing to the input of my routing folder. Now I'm going to drag all my drum tracks and drop it into that folder. So now what I can do if I need to, this isn't a very big session, so I kind of don't really need to do it this way, but I'm just so used to using routing folders recently that that's what I'm doing. Because a routing folder is going to act like a subgroup. I can do sends from the subgroup, I can add inserts to the subgroup, etc., etc. When I do make, because we are mixing in the box, everything's going to be inside the box. When I make reverb tracks and delay tracks, and I'm going to put those and route those to the same subgroups. Bass is all by itself, so I'm going to leave that by itself. All the guitars, again, I'm gonna do a similar thing with all the guitars. I'm going to go ahead and make a stereo routing folder for my guitars. I'm gonna name it guitars. I'm gonna learn how to spell today. So let's do that. And then we'll take the output of all our guitars and we will hold Shift and Option, and we're gonna make the output of all of them go to the guitars folder. And then we will put all the guitars inside the folder. Now, while these are selected, I might go ahead and change the color of the guitars. I might make them like a bright yellow or something. I do change colors just so if I'm on the mix page, I can look real quick and I can see that all my guitars are a different color. The organ, I'll change the color of the organ. Let's make it a purple color. And then we'll definitely take the vocals, and we'll make the vocals a light blue or something. So there, when we go look at the folders, when we go look at the mix page, we can see that the different colors are really, really prominent, really there. Okay. So I kind of got my mix set up the way that I like it. Okay, I got my folder set up. I got my my tracks laid out the way that I like it. Actually, I do want the rhythm guitar before the lead guitar, and then the solos at the end, the organ, and then the vocals. Okay, so what the next thing that we do is what they call a static mix. I know that we're in the box, so we're going to be dealing with the faders on Pro Tools here. We're going to do a static mix. We're going to listen to the song while we adjust levels and panning. I'm not adding any plugins just yet. We're going to just listen to the song as the song, okay? So let's just play it. We'll just start listening to it, see what it sounds like. It gives us an idea where parts are. You can start adding just levels and panning. I do like the I'm gonna pan my snare and my hi-hat just a little bit. Now I am panning as though I am the drummer. Okay, I see the rack tom is there and the floor tom is over there. The overheads are already panned the way I need them. The room is, let's pan the room a little bit the opposite direction there. So we can actually take the drums in and out. There you go. The guitars, now the guitars, I'm basically treating this, if we look at the guitars here, I have a rhythm guitar player and a lead guitar player. Now, the lead guitar player, I can also see from the solo that the lead guitar player, I'm going to go ahead and chop these out so that they're there in the middle where I need them. I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's two guitar players, because the rhythm guitar player is still playing while the solo is playing, and he's also playing while the lead guitar is playing. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's two guitar players. So I'm going to pan one a little bit to one side and one a little bit to the other, just to give them some space as two different guitar players. The organ is in a good place. Okay, go back to set some levels here. It's a little loud. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay. So that's pretty good. So what we've got now is we've got a pretty decent static mix. Now, what I like to do now at this point is we haven't yet made a master fader. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go make a master fader now. Okay, I'm going to go to the last track here, which is the vocals. Escape that. I'm going to go to the last track here, which is the vocals. Make a new track, and I'm going to go ahead and say make a master fader. Let's make it a stereo master fader. One thing that I do that's a little bit weird is that I like to do what they call top-down mixing or backward mixing, okay? I am going to drop a plug-in on my master fader, and I like to use the God particle. It's just, it works for me. I actually have a preset set where all I do is I drop the limiter down to 2.8 instead of the 5 dB that it normally sits at. So if I bypass this and we listen to it, and then let me turn it on, but I had a good time. Bypass it. So lonely, babe. So I'm not really adding a lot. I'm adding 2 decibels of gain at the limiter stage. Let's zoom in a little bit on this God particle here. I am dropping the mids a little bit, and I'm adding a half a dB of high and a little bit more than a half of dB of mids, of a little bit more than a half dB of the low frequencies there. This is a real simple EQ, and all it does is add a little bit of flavor. If we turn it off, it's so lonely, but I had a good. It's not doing too much. It's just giving me a little bit of sparkle that I like to listen to while I'm doing this. Now I'm going to listen to this God particle throughout the mix, and I normally take it off before I finish the mix and send it to the mastering engineer. I don't want to add anything, or if I do leave that on there, when I bounce it, I'm going to take, I'm gonna drop the limiter a little bit, so I'm not adding any volume. That's the mastering engineer's job, by the way. I know that in today's market, everybody likes to make things as loud as possible in the mix stage. But if you're making things as loud as possible in the mix stage, and then you're sending things to a mastering engineer, the mastering engineer can't do any work. And I know I've heard engineers say, oh, I don't want the mastering engineer to change my mix. All the mastering engineer's job is to do, and we're going to talk about this in a few weeks, all the mastering engineer's job is to do is to make your mix, enhance your mix, make it bigger, better, clearer, fatter, wider, and louder. So if you don't give him any room to do any work, he can't do his job. And, your mix is your mix. I understand that. But leave a little bit of love for the mastering engineer. We did our static mix. We got our master fader situated. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start mixing, okay? I'm just going to set up maybe a loop. Oh, you know what we need to do is we haven't listened to the entire song. I mean, I know the song, and I know that there's problems with the song. One of the problems we have with the song is here in the solo guitar part. If we just solo the solo guitar, no pun intended there, but if we just solo the solo guitar, You hear that one's clean. That's a clean DI'd guitar. Then this part has some effects on it. This one actually came from the amp. So these were both overdubs. And what happened is we recorded the amp on one of them, and then we took the DI signal from the other half of the solo part and put it together. So what we need to do, our job is to make this part sound like this part. Or another idea we could do, and we can take these creative ideas as mix engineers, we can make one of the guitars this guy, and then have the other guitar be the lead guitar player. See what I'm saying? Instead of having one guy play just both solos. So that would be a creative choice for you. And however you mix your version of Homie, that's going to be up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to match this guitar with this guitar. So I can tell that this one's got a little bit of delay on it. This one does not have any. That one's got a little bit of added mid-range. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just insert an amp. We're going to use this THU by Overloud, which actually is part of the Slate bundle. And we'll just find maybe, it is kind of a clean guitar, so maybe we'll just start here. No. Start with a preset. That's not bad. That's kind of, let's see if I can make this smaller so we can see everything. That's not bad, but is it? Okay, so what we could do is think creatively. We could think that at the other half of this solo, the guy changes his tone a little bit. So for me, there's not enough. I would put a delay on this one. A delay. Let's see. Let's go with a digital delay. Just add this at the end. Just add this at the very end after everything. And let's dial this in. Let's see what it sounds like. Not bad. Okay, a little bit more. I like the delay. The delay sounds good. But this one's got a little bit more mid-range boxiness to it. Yeah, the other one's got a little bit more boxy mid-range to the amp here. So let's go with a little bit of. Yeah, I'm just twisting knobs, man. That's what I'm doing. Y'all gotta know, man, that mixing just ain't, it's not that difficult. What I do, man, is I just kind of twist knobs till things get, till things sound good. I don't know about the, yeah, I'm not gonna use any wah on that. Maybe a crybaby. That might be cool. That might be something cool to automate, man. That might be something cool to automate, huh? See now I'm thinking that now I've added too much of the highs to it. Let me go back those off a little bit on the amp. Yeah, so that's not bad. I'm gonna leave it there for now. We'll see what See what this feels like when we get it in the mix there. So that was one of the problems that we experienced with this song, and we legit put this in. We put this in purposely so that students would have to find the problems. For everyone, I'm sure that it's different for everyone. The tendency is to start with drums. I kind of do sometimes, but sometimes I just try to feel the song. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna find a loop that includes the solos, and I'm just gonna play. All right. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna take the vocals down just a little bit. I feel like the vocals. Well, you know what we could do too is I know the snare is gonna need a reverb, and I know that the vocals are gonna need a reverb. So let's go ahead and let's send the snare to a reverb. Let's call this a snare verb. Okay, go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and I know I'm gonna want a different reverb for the overhead. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's call this overhead verb. Okay. Let's go ahead. I know I'm gonna want one for the room mic as well. So let's add a new track. Unfortunately, Pro Tools doesn't have a key command for making new tracks like that. Not doing it this way. Yeah, I know you can make a new track with Shift Command N. I almost said Shift Apple N, and then y'all know how long I've been using a Mac. So let's say it that way. Yeah, y'all kids today don't know there used to be a picture of an apple on the command key, and that was why we called it the Apple key. Let's call this the room verb. Hopefully y'all are enjoying some of this as much as I am, because it's going to take a minute. I'm going to try to edit some of this out, but, you know, I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. Let's add a new track to the vocals. We'll call this vocal verb. While we're here, let's go ahead. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that there because that's the general consensus of how everybody does everything. If you want to add a delay, you can add a delay. I got a plugin that I like to use. There's a plugin that I like to start with on the vocals. Let's go ahead and insert that on the vocals. Okay, I don't know if you guys have discovered Xvox Pro. Oh my goodness, Xvox Pro has everything I need for my vocals. And you know, you can start with a preset. Listen, some people hate presets. Some people only use presets. I start with presets. Okay? I just start with presets because that's a great place to start. Okay? If I say I want to start with a modern clean lead, it already sets it up. I'm probably going to adjust a little bit here and there. I do like the Xvox Pro because it has this built-in verb duck and delay duck. We used to have to do this with side chaining and gates, but we don't have to do that anymore. And then this thing has this it's got this modulation that you can add unison, a phaser to it, modulation, tape saturation. This thing is pretty dope, and I'm gonna start with the amplifier, which is basically we're running our vocals through a guitar amp. Okay, let me get this out the way for a sec real quick. Let's go ahead and listen to our vocals here.
So lonely, babe.
I add that a little bit more.
But I had me a good time. Yeah. Since you've been gone, all I have is a
different. Oh, I'm kind of glad y'all saw that because what I forgot to do in the very beginning was increase my buffer size. I'm mixing. I don't need a small buffer size because I'm not really concerned about latency at this point. So let's just go ahead and find us a cool reverb, like a plate.
so lonely, babe.
That sounds awesome. They have a
But I had me a
space,
good time.
digital type, reverb, room, chamber.
Since you've been gone, all I have is a good
I
time.
do like the plate, so I'm gonna keep it there. Go ahead and add a little duck to it. Kind of what the duck does too is when the reverb's not playing, it adds a little bit more. When the vocals are playing, it ducks it down. It ducks the reverb down a little bit so that the vocals can come out. Okay, kind of the point of it, and that's how we use gates for that. We could change the time. We've shortened it a little bit.
So lonely, babe, but I had me a good time.
Add a quarter delay.
Yeah, since you've been gone, all I have is a good time.
It's not bad.
So lonely,
air to it.
babe,
So I'm thinking the vocals would
but I had
sound
me a
kind of good.
good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good place for me to start. Let's now move on to the drums. Let's see what we can do about these drums. So the snare reverb I'm going to use is I'm a big fan of Little Plate by Sound Toys, and it's kind of my favorite for snares when I'm mixing in the box. There's a preset that I like to use, the fat one time, and I take it up to about two seconds. All right, and I kind of leave it there. I don't really play with this too much. The low cut, I will take some of those lows out. One thing that I don't really care for about this is that you kind of can't see the frequencies that you're dealing with. I'd prefer to use an EQ if we had to do it that way. Okay.
So
And add a little bit to it.
babe,
You know what we need to do is we need to send this to the drum bus as well, so that it comes out where we need it to come out. Okay. Go ahead and do the same thing to these two. Make this one go out the drum bus. Make this one go out the drum bus. Oops. So there you go. And then, you know what else I got, man, that I really like for rooms and overheads, specifically rooms. Let's go ahead and add the one for the room. It's a Universal Audio, man. If you guys haven't discovered UADX, man, it's got some cool stuff in it. I like the Hitsville chamber. Very authentic 70s vibe. And you can just pick again, man, you could pick a preset, go with some drums. Just go with, let's try what is it? I think it's the 60s drums or something. Old-timey snare. Let's go with the drum room. Oh, they do have overheads for that. But I'm going to try something different for overheads. I don't know, let's try that. Can make a copy of it and bring it up over there. Drop it down there. And let's just go ahead and try the preset overheads on that one. We tried the drums. Overhead magic. There you go. Let's just start there. See what happens, man.
so lonely, babe,
We could actually solo these up if you want
But
to
I had-
solo up the drums. Okay. So the rooms, I'm definitely gonna EQ the rooms. I'm gonna get rid of some of those lows in that room. I don't need those. This was a small room. The room is actually our Studio B here at ES Audio Recording Studios, and it's not a very big room. I'm surprised we had enough room to put the drummer up in there. Cut from about 100 down on the room mic. We don't need any of those low frequencies in there, man. Just get rid of them. Don't need them. Okay. Same with the overheads. You can actually use the same EQ on those, man. Just cut from 100 down, so we don't need that. Maybe even boost a little bit in this area, a little bit of a shelf, just on those overheads. The overheads are essentially cymbal mics, man. That's all I want in there. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bus compressor. I do like the G bus on the UAD for drums. Again, man, you can go with a preset if you want. You know what I mean? Let's try the parallel. A little bit of makeup to it. Don't want to suck too much life out of it. Not bad. I'm gonna drop this down a couple though. I might need to add something else to the drum bus. So let's mess with this kick drum a little bit, shall we?
so lonely, babe, but I had me a good time. Yeah, since you've been
I do like the stereo. Man, I'm digging the stereo vibe on the overheads. It's working for me. Let's go ahead and mess with this kick drum a little bit. Basically, man, we can use, you know what I like? We got the whole waves package here, man. So I do like the magma channel strip for kicks. It's got pretty much everything you need, man. It's got, you know, it's got a drive, an EQ, and a compressor, and an expander. Again, man, you could go with a preset if you want. I don't like how they do their presets, man. I mean, if you look at this, their presets are all the guys. I mean, you got to kind of know who you want, where you want it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of harsh, man. You got to kind of go through and figure out which one you like. You got to try to remember which one you like. Let's start here. Ben Fowler's Kick Weight. Add a little bit more drive to it.
But I had me a good time.
More compression on it too. If you guys downloaded the mix prep checklist and the EQ and the EQ cheat sheet, this should be in there, man. You just grab the frequencies just grab those frequencies, man. Just start moving things around and see what it feels like, man. You're not gonna hurt nothing. So that's what it's for. Okay? I very rarely solo things in a mix unless I absolutely have to hear, unless there's a mistake or something that I'm trying to listen to just by itself. Maybe there's something in there. So I'm not going to go solo my kick drum and just listen to a kick drum. No, I need to hear my kick drum in my mix. Now, we'll listen to my overall drums. Make sure that my kick drum is sticking out a little bit. Trying to add a little more boom to it. If you're trying to give it a 70s vibe or add that a little bit, man. That feels good. I kind of like it. I'm not mad at it. Dude, the snare, I kind of like the snare just the way it is, man. If y'all feel like we need to drop a little EQ on there, we can, but maybe just get rid of some of them low frequencies out of there. But other than that, man, I kind of like where the snare's at, man. You know, I just roll off some about 60 below. Feel like a little more crack on it. Here's the crack.
But I had me a good time.
Get you a little more crack up on that snare, but other than that, man, don't need a bunch.
All I have is a good
The hi-hat's a little out of hand. I agree. So I will be putting an EQ on this hi-hat. Just again, getting rid of some of these low frequencies out of there. Don't need those. Honestly, don't need anything below 200. Trying to just add a little more sparkle to it. Now he's on the ride, which is in the. There's a lot of the hi-hat in the rooms and the overheads.
You broke my wings, yet I have a good time. You shattered every one of my dreams, yet I had me a good time. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good time.
Now the toms kind of sound very cardboardy. The toms sound very cardboardy. So I'm gonna go with an EQ on these as well. So again, look, I'm just pulling. I don't know if you guys know Pro Tools that well, but this is just the stock. This is simply the stock plugin from Pro Tools. Right here, we're looking at the rack tom. We're gonna get rid of some of the low frequencies. I'm gonna add a little bit of 2K and get rid of some of the sparkle on it just a little bit. Let me go find a spot where they're playing in loop. They were. That rack tom already sounds better. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the floor tom, but I'm gonna not add as much of that. I add a little bit more of these lower little bits here. Same thing, man. Getting rid of some of them super low frequencies that we don't need. I might send a little bit of this to the, I might send just a little bit of this to the overhead reverb, just a touch. Literally just a touch. Yeah. Just a tiny little bit. All right. I think the drums are feeling good. I am listening on NS10s, and this room's pretty decent for mixing in. I'm very used to it. I do enjoy this room. So let's go. Let's add in some bass, shall we? I think the tone of the bass is really well done. I'm just gonna add. My favorite is the Fairchild 660, but let's just double check this magma channel strip and see if we can't get something feeling good about this. I don't know if I'm enjoying this this plug-in, but at the same time, I'm not that familiar with the presets. That's too much compression. Huh? I do like the drive on it. All right, let me come off that loop. That's too much.
It's so lonely, but I had a good time.
All right, I'm gonna leave that there for a sec, but I'm gonna go with my regular Fairchild. I do have a UAD in this room, and we do the UAD. I enjoy it. It's not that expensive, yet it's not that cheap, if you know what I mean. So kind of feels good. Now, what I normally do with the bass DI is crank the input gain up, bring the threshold down a little bit. I'm getting some nastiness out the pump with this. Sidechain filter a little bit. Turn it down. All right. It's kind of the way I like it. With these guitars have been here.
But I had a good time.
Got my rhythm guitar player on one side, my lead guitar player on the other. I'm gonna make this rhythm guitar player just a little bit brighter and go with my regular 7-band stock EQ.
It's so lonely, but I had a good time.
Guitars live in the mid-range, people. Everybody remember that. Guitars live in the mid-range.
It's so lonely, but I had a good time. So lonely, babe, but I had a good time. Yeah. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good time.
More volume on the lead there. All right, so what I'm gonna do on the guitar bus, what I'm gonna do is I just kind of like doing this on the bus. I'm gonna do a Pultec, the 1A, and then I'm gonna do a distressor. And this is pretty much a standard for my what I like to do with electric guitars. There are presets for this that I do like. This one you can do the artist. Jacques King is one that I like. Jacques King, and then we'll do guitar lead on this one. Okay. I think on the Pultec there's also if you go to the artist, the cuts through.
So lonely, but I had a good time. So lonely, babe, but I had a good time. Yeah. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good time.
Well, the bass a little too loud. Let's bring his organ in a little bit.
You blow my wings. Yet I
You know what I'm doing his organ, man, is that magma. I think the magma channel will work nicely on the organ. And I do know there's a preset for that. I think this guy, well, Jacques King is there. But Jeff Hepner is actually a friend of mine. Jeff Hepner is actually a friend of mine. Let's go with this Rhodes Bite. And
it's so
not
lonely,
bad.
but I had a good time.
A little more drive on it. Yeah, all right.
So lonely, babe,
Of course, it's not meant to be a
I
lead.
had a good time.
Let's pull that back just a bit.
Yeah.
Let's get these vocals sticking out a little bit.
Since you've been gone,
I mean,
all I have is a good time.
not bad.
You broke my
I think
wings,
that lead guitar
yet I have a good
is a
time.
little bit too.
You shattered every one of my dreams, yet I had me a good time. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good time. Yeah.
All right. Not bad. I'm not spending a bunch of time on this mix. The files were recorded well. Might need to. I might automate this rhythm guitar down a little bit, just when the solos are playing. So what I would do is go in here to this section. Okay, I'm gonna break it out, and I'm just gonna drop the level down a little bit on the, like, not even 2 decibels, just to bring it down. So when it is playing here, it's that.
Since you've been gone,
You know what? And then when it comes in there, it's gonna dip down a little bit. That's all.
time. Yeah.
Maybe a little more. Not bad. All right. I'm not mad at this mix at all. This mix is working for me. What I would do now is double check it, listen to everything again.
You drank my wine, and I still had a good time, baby. You stole my money, and I still had a good time. Since you've been gone, baby, since you've been gone, darling, since you've been gone, yeah, I still had a great time. Yeah, all thanks to you, baby.
Not bad. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bounce this out. Okay. We're going to call this our in the box mix Of course, we're going to save 150 times because it is Pro Tools, and we want to make sure that we save this lovely mix that we got going on here. So I'm going to bounce this out. We're going to save this for when we do the mastering. We're going to master all three of these songs together, the in the box, the fully analog, and the hybrid mix. We're gonna master them all together, and then we're gonna compare them, see which one we like best. So hopefully you guys got some ideas. Hopefully you got some pointers. I did run through this really quickly. It's not about actually showing exactly what an EQ is and exactly what a compressor is and how we use it. It was more about just my style of mixing on this live recorded song. This song was definitely recorded without a click. It was strictly live, and it was one of these. It's a little bit out of time, but hey, that's what makes music good. That's what makes music alive. You know, like I said earlier, we did overdub the lead guitar and the solo guitar parts and the organ because the bass player was also the organist, and the lead we only had one guitar player, and he was also the singer. So when we recorded live, he was singing and playing at the same time. So there's that. Hopefully you guys got something out of this, man. I'm super excited. I had a great time bringing it to you. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out, info@learnprorecording.com, or you can just leave a message here. Leave a comment down below on YouTube here if you guys are watching me on YouTube. And we'll see you in a little bit. So, hey, hopefully you got some ideas. Hopefully you got some, you understood a little bit about how this song works and the issues. That there is a problem with it, and hopefully you guys found it and you saw it and you understand it and you're able to fix it. Again, this mix was really quick. I tried to keep it within under an hour. So normally we'd spend a little bit more time dialing things in and getting things feeling really good. I know you can't really hear it on YouTube the way that I'm hearing it in the room. So please don't think that that's all there is to it. But you have the files. Mix the song yourself. If you don't remember, the files are here. Go grab it, learnprorecording.com/homie files. You're just going to download the WAV files. You can put them into whatever DAW you want. It doesn't have to be Pro Tools. I just happen to be in Pro Tools today. I'm way more comfortable working in Pro Tools than I am in Logic. I can work in Logic. I'm just a little bit slower. I like the way Pro Tools works for mixing. I also like the way Pro Tools works for recording. It just reminds me of the analog. It reminds me of how things work when you have your hands on things. And it's just me. Some people hate Pro Tools. Some people dislike Pro Tools. Some people don't use Pro Tools. I can use other DAWs. I'm just a little bit slower. But hey, you know what? I used Pro Tools today, and I'm comfortable with it. I think the song came out good. Of course, you kind of can't really hear it like that on YouTube, but maybe at the end, we're gonna make all these mixes downloadable, and then we're gonna master everything together. So for the mastering lesson, which is gonna be the last week of July, I'm gonna make all my mixes downloadable that you can bring into a mastering session and master, or you can use yours. You can use your own mixes if you like. It's up to you. Hopefully you got something out of this, man. This has been fun. I'm really enjoying how this works. There's a lot of edits involved, but hey, you know, you guys know I normally like to bring things to you live and unfiltered. If stupid shit comes out of my mouth, then you got to listen to stupid crap. Sorry. If the kids are listening, I apologize. But no, listen, that's how it works, man. And y'all know this is the way that things work here. I'm not trying to be a big production on doing stuff. I'm just a dude that does make. I make music. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am not a musician. I'm not a musician. I don't want to be a guitar player. I don't want to be a drummer. I can, but I don't want to do that. I'm a mix engineer. I'm a recording engineer. That's what I do. I've been a mixing engineer probably most of my adult life, and so that's why. That is why. I started as a touring mixing engineer, mostly monitors, and some front of house, but mostly monitors. But when came in the studio, and it was natural for me to come into a studio. It makes sense to me, you know. So hopefully you guys got something out of this mix, watching me do a little something. I'm very minimal. I kept this mix very, very minimal in the box, so only using plugins that I'm used to. So if you guys got tricks, man, use the tricks. Let me hear your mixes. Put them in the get in the Facebook group. Just share your mixes with us. So there you go. Hopefully we'll see you guys Wednesday on the blog post. We'll see you Thursday on the live. Don't forget about Thursday live. You guys that are on the email list, you get a link. Sometimes the time changes depending on the schedule of the studio. Sometimes I have to do it in the morning. Sometimes I wait until the evening. So watch for the emails for the Thursday live. Thursday lives, we talk about business and how to get business and how to make your living doing this. So and then we'll see you next Monday when we mix but we're gonna mix strictly analog next week, which is going to be interesting to see how the differences are between mixing in the box and mixing completely out of the box. So hopefully you guys join me for that. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Have a great week, a very prosperous week. We'll see you guys. See you soon. My name is Donnie Baker. I'm out of here. Peace.